Everybody, I'm just quickly popping in to say hello and just to show you guys that I'm still alive and I'm still here for you. It is just that the past week had been absolutely hectic, and what could have gone wrong did indeed go wrong. Added to that, the Dragon Man is still busy writing exams, but we're nearing the end now. 2 more papers and we're done, and hopefully I'll be back on schedule and our routine will return to normal. Well, we do not really have a routine, not in our hectic lives, but as much as we can possibly stick to doing what we have to do, we will do starting again next week. Okay, I had quite a good reaction on my doodles, the ones I do when I cannot sleep and while I'm listening to other YouTubers. I sit pen in hand and I doodle all kinds of things. Some of them are just absolutely patterns and forms and squiggles on the paper that I color in with the same ballpoint pen. And that is just because I'm too lazy to unpack all my art material and then having to pack it away again at 2 a.m. So a ballpoint pen is just easy. I just pop it back into my pencil bag afterwards. Anyway, okay, let's quickly recap on this week's events. The appearance of Meghan and Harry in the Los Angeles National Cemetery had wide-ranged reactions from a number of people. And when I watched Yankee Wally's latest video and I heard her read that letter from a woman who is a military mother, sister, granddaughter, and who took serious offense and then took the time to actually put her feelings to paper, it really, really touched me. And I've now reached the point, I think, along with many of you, where I feel that something needs to be done now. And even though there may be an agreement between the royal family, Harry and Meghan, as to their review at the end of March, I do feel that the royal family has an obligation to speak out at this point in time, because it is my opinion that Harry and Meghan's spiteful act, because I do believe that this photo shoot in the cemetery was a spiteful act on their behalf. But I believe, I feel, and it is my opinion, that these spiteful acts of theirs have the potential to damage the diplomatic relationship between Britain and America if this is allowed to continue. And I think and feel that the Queen had always been very successful in managing her family and her country, that she knew instinctively how to act and when to react. If I also look at statistics and various polls, it is clear that most Britons, the majority of Brits, along with the majority of the rest of us, have immense respect for Her Majesty the Queen. And by keeping quiet and by not reacting, I think we are little by little losing some respect. Or perhaps it's not a matter of losing respect, but sort of becoming despondent, seeing these two behave like idiots and with no repercussions. It takes that hope away from us that there's justice in the world. So, to reiterate and to get back to my original point, I think at this point either the Queen or Charles should either sit down with a respected royal interviewer or journalist, or issue a statement on behalf of the palace. They can take their time over constructing and writing a proper statement and then to issue it. But I think it's absolutely imperative that they now distance themselves from Harry and Meghan as much as possible. I also think the fact that they refused to present a wreath, and I'm not going to say lay a wreath on behalf of Harry, because as we know by now, by listening to other people's videos, there are no personal wreaths being laid. And I think that Harry knew this, and I think that he wanted one of them to stand in for him and lay the wreath on behalf of the Marines. And as no one else has yet been appointed as Captain General of the Royal Marines, no one was prepared to do that on his behalf, which is only right. One has to be there, be in your job, be at your job to actually get any benefits from your job. And why should anyone else cover for you and you get the reward? I don't think it's fair. It doesn't happen in real life. If I work for a company and I decide that I don't want to go to work today, and I just decide that I'm going to send someone else to work on my behalf, should that company accept it? No, they shouldn't, and they will not. Because each of us are trained, or we are talented, or whatever, to do our own job. We have been chosen to do our job, like Harry was chosen by his grandfather to be the next Captain General of the Royal Marines. And for him to turn his back and to expect other people to pick up the slack on his behalf is just plain ridiculous, and it is, in my opinion, utterly disgusting, self-centered, and delusional. Anyway, so you guys who have not seen that letter that Yankee Wally read to all of us, you can either go to Yankee Wally's channel and have a look at the video, or alternatively go to the Harry Markle blog where the letter was published. I think that woman is spot on. I don't blame her for getting emotional in the letter, and I don't blame her for taking the time to actually write it, because it's obviously something that touched her deeply and emotionally, and I absolutely 100% agree with her. So please make some effort to go read that letter. I think it was absolutely brilliant. However, having said all of that, I have noticed that there is more and more talk and speculation that the Queen will indeed remove some of Harry and Meghan's titles and patronages next year in March or April. It is my opinion that the Queen will not remove all the titles and all the patronages in one go, that she will do so gradually over a period of a couple of months. Alternatively, once she starts removing titles or the discussions are being held, I think Harry will get mad and he will voluntarily give up his titles. I'm not psychic, but I do predict that that will be the beginning of the end for Harry and Meghan. Once the titles are removed, particularly that of Duke and Duchess, Meghan will not have any use for Harry anymore, and I think divorce will be announced within the next, say, 12 to 24 months after that. So let's see whether we are right or wrong. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe there is some real love between the two of them. However, I do believe that Harry is deeply in love with Meghan. I do not believe that she is in love with him. So I'm going to stick to my opinion and say that within 24 months after the Duke and Duchess titles are taken, that Megan will remove herself, or she'll kick Harry out, who knows, but that divorce will happen soon thereafter. And then there's another good question which cropped up more often than usual over the past week, and that is, where is Archie? We have not seen Archie since his birthday in May this year, and that is a very long time. Where is Archie? And I think in between finishing up all those other promised videos, I'm going to be taking some time next week to try and dig and see what more I can come up with regards to Archie. Because quite frankly, I'm actually worried about the child. I'm worried, and I do not think that DCF or any of these family services will ever interfere when it comes to royals. But I do think that the royal family themselves should investigate as to how this poor child is being brought up. As far as I know, Megan does not want to take him to a little play school or play group because she's too famous to do that. He is not in contact with any of his little cousins. So how is this poor child growing up? All by his lonesome self, locked into some tower with his nanny? I'm not sure, but that is definitely not healthy for any child. A child at his age should learn how to interact with other children, how to share toys, etc., etc., because the time will come when he has to go to school and when he has no idea as to how to interact with other children, he will experience severe problems at school. So let's see next week what I can come up with. I do have a couple of tipsters and people who, just for fun, try and do some investigation on my behalf. So next week I will see how many of them I can rally together to try and get some more information for us. So for now, I hope you've enjoyed all my doodles and my ramblings, because today it's not a scripted video, it is just me talking at random. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you again next week. Take care until then. Bye.